Welcome to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I am the NFL genius Gene Walzak. In the upper left corner, we got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cutro.
Gentlemen, we are finally here. March Madness is among us. I'm excited.
Is there any, I want to ask this question, right? Because I know what my answer is, but outside of the Super Bowl, is there, and see, I don't even know if I can, I would say the Super Bowl is more fun for me, and it's probably because the Eagles were just in there. But, if you had to randomly pick any two teams in the Super Bowl, is there any, better day in sports for you than the opening 2 days of March Madness? I take off work every year, Thursday, Friday. From 12 to midnight, from noon to midnight, I am locked on. We got 3 TVs set up. Ordering some Raisin Canes. I'm fired up. Is there anything better than it? I'm going to get Shally. Give me a second. Let me get Shally a second. If I'm asking you, Kitcho, is there anything better than it?
I'd say no. I appreciate, you guys brought me into the tradition 4 years ago, and ever since, can't work on the opening day of the tournament. It just can't happen anymore. So no, it's how you got to take care of it.
In the upper right corner, Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Mr. William Shallcross. Now, Bill, this is the question I have to ask for you. What time are you leaving work tomorrow? I think you'll go. What time are you leaving work tomorrow?
If I was going to do it right, I would be doing what you're doing and taking off and actually probably be with you guys. But the way the world is right now and the way work is, that is not going to be an option for me tomorrow. I'm still holding out for Friday. So, but we'll see. I'll have it on in my office though. So I have a TV in my office. It'll be on all day, but still not the same.
I want to know who in the office is joining the goddamn pool. Come on, guys. What are we doing?
You'll get a couple of them tomorrow.
Maybe more than a couple. I look forward to your office competing. We're just on the goddamn. What? All right. So we're going to go over, if you listen to us Monday, we did the full bracketology, broke down every game, first round matchup. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to go over our Final Four matchups. We'll even tell you who was in our Elite Eight to kind of get to that Final Four and international champions. We're going to cover that. But before we cover that, I just would like to talk about, this is a good, I know you're a golf guy, Eric. I love you. You said Masters Sunday or Ryder Cup. Sunday.
Masters is up there for me.
I'm sure. But
Masters is probably my top 5.
But what's your best day of the year?
Super Bowl is tough if your team's in it. I mean, obviously, if you're playing. Actually, I mean, college football national championship, again, if your team's in it, it's different.
Still, though, that's on a Monday.
Opening day is still really big for me. Opening day is probably the only one that would compete year in, year out with the Super Bowl.
And I know we're gonna get there, but can we have a discussion when we get to baseball? The opening series is fine and all, but I feel like opening day is just so much better when you get all 30 teams playing on the same day. And that is the first day of baseball. I'm fine with the series going overseas, all that. But I feel like opening day is meant for all 30 teams all on the same day throughout the day. And it's a true opening day, not a opening little teaser. And then a week later, you get everybody else.
Couldn't agree more.
We'll get into that with baseball.
A money grab. That's all it was.
I mean, you're right. It's definitely a money grab, but we'll get into that more when we get into it with baseball. I'm too fired up about March Madness. We got to talk about the conference tourneys that happened last week. Some good conference tourneys. But you know what I realized about this Sunday and this even Saturday night? There wasn't a lot of bracket busters. There wasn't a lot of situations in which a conference tourney, a Cinderella made it through the conference tourney and stolen that large bid. it was a lot of chalk in these conference tournaments. That might lead to a lot of chalk in the NCAA tournament.
It's the trend.
Is it?
That's what a lot of people think. Like more so than, I mean, every year you look at it, you're like, oh, maybe this team's got to get there, and they don't. But there's a lot of people that think this one's going to go more chalk than not.
We're doing the thing.
I think it'll upsets, but it's. I don't think there's a lot of people that don't believe there's a 12, a 13, or a 14 seed that can make like the Elite Eight run. Like I think there might upset some in the first round, and then they're going to lose. That's like the consensus across the board with a lot of things. I'm not saying I believe that, but
I've been successful with a lot of my brackets. Now, let me be very clear when I say this. The last 2 years, I've not been successful in my brackets. But I've been successful in a lot of brackets throughout the years by just not trying not to be the hero, projecting upsets that just don't happen. Like, and if they do, then that's fine. You're part of the 76% that shows that side, so you don't screw yourself up. I really try to like me projecting on the show Gonzaga beating Houston when I know that Gonzaga can lose in the first round. It's like one of those things that's just like I don't really do that on my bracket just because I'm not sure they'll get there, right? But Cottrell is the guy that never wins the bracket and does exactly what I just said.
That's actually false because I believe I know for a fact I've won our bracket since we've been doing the show. The year that I had
our bracket between the three of us, you've never won the bracket.
The bracket when we had Baylor win.
Fifth. You weren't the only guy that had Baylor. You were fifth that year. Now you and Shally were the highest out of us three because you guys had Baylor and I had Gonzaga. But like you got to be the winner of the bracket.
I'm almost positive that year. I'm almost positive that year we won.
I thought, yeah. See, because I feel like the show won it like 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
let's go back and look.
Well, definitely we'll have to go back and look. But yeah, Gene, I know you definitely are not a part of that winner circle. That's for. I don't know if you've picked the natty winner since we've done the show.
Maybe not since we've done the show. Oh no, hold on. I didn't get UConn last year. I
had UConn the year before.
I had North Carolina. Didn't North Carolina win a couple years ago when they were a powerhouse team? No, they didn't.
They did not.
Yeah, I don't think I had the natty since we started.
Yeah, so
But I've won brackets. I had 1 year where I was 99.8.
I mean, that's fine. That's pre-COVID, PC. We don't count those years.
I hate you. Absolutely hate you. That is absolutely a trap, forcing upsets. Since the tournament expanded to 64 teams in 1985, there's been one instance in which all four number one. See, I don't have all four number one seeds though. I get what you're saying. It's 2008. I remember that, but I don't have all four number one.
It's the last time they were in San Antonio.
I have a 2. Yeah. There you go. I have a 2 in my Final Four. We'll get into it. Is there anything in the conference tourneys that you guys saw that led you to believe something different about this tournament? Is there any team that you saw in the conference tourney you're like, wow, they're better than I thought they were? Because, guys, I don't know about you two, and I don't know. We'll be honest. I don't feel right breaking the sport down unless I'm like Tim Legler watching the sport, right? So, like, I know I can break down NFL because I can sit here and tell you guys I watch NFL like nobody's business. Now, I've watched college basketball. I go to bed. College basketball's on. I'm watching a show. College basketball's on. I've been watching college basketball. But for me to pretend to you that I know how good High Point is, I can't do that. Now, I've read. I've looked at the, High Point's got this guy and go watch a highlight of them. But I don't know about High Point. Do you know about High Point?
See, this is how, obviously, like when those games are on ESPN Plus, like if there's nothing else on, that's when like sometimes you just get lucky and you watch a half of that game and it ends up being like a High Point game. And then when the tournaments are on, I have it on my computer all the time on ESPN Plus. So like it's a weird thing to say, but I can tell you I've watched High Point play 3 times this year. Like it's little things like that. But if you don't have access to that, it's very hard to not be in the position that you're in. Like, yeah, like we can read about it and talk about it, but how many people have really sat down and watched St. Francis of PA play? Like if it's anything higher than 10%, I'm calling everybody a liar. So like it's it's tough, and that's what makes the bracket tough. We can listen to like you said, Tim Legler or Jay Billis and all those guys, and they're not watching them either. So you know what I mean.
How many hours in a day that you have to watch High Point? I just don't know.
That's what I mean. And those guys live and breathe college basketball. That's all they do, and they haven't seen them play maybe more than once. So take it with a grain of salt. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. We got a lot to get into tonight. A lot to get into. We're going to talk about college basketball. We're going to give our Final Fours. Cottrell, is there anyone in the tournament, anyone in any of these conference tournament games where you were like, I was wrong about them? They're worse than I thought. They're better than I thought. They're more equipped to the tournament. They're less equipped for the tournament.
Honestly, I would say for the most part, no. The one team that I thought going in could win the national championship, that after watching them play that I feel even higher on, would be Florida. I mean, Florida just ran through the SEC tournament like hot knife through butter. And I know we talked about, that could potentially be a detriment for teams, like going through the grueling aspects of it. But for me, the way it looked and the way that Florida was able to compete throughout the entire tournament, it just seemed like they were able to just, boom, flip a switch and, go up by 20 and, never look back. So that's one team I definitely want to give a ton of credit to for sure.
For me, I would say it's not that I didn't think this team was good, but then I watched them play 2.5 times in the tournament and realized they were a little bit, I want to say a little bit, I realized they were probably a decent amount better than I thought would be VCU. Obviously, we talked about on Monday with Rich, but like he sees all these teams twice a year. And he was from the beginning of the year. He's like, they're really good. Like they're really, really good. I think I watched them play St. Joe's maybe like beginning of February, somewhere around there. And St. Joe's was actually really good this year, and they dominated. And then kind of like to Cottrell's point with Florida, that they got into the tournament and they walked through it. They hit on their business. They didn't let anybody get close. They didn't let anybody hang around. Let anybody even have that like upset type, situation. They are a very good basketball team.
They absolutely are a good basketball team. It's just really tough to go through the gauntlet. I think they won like 4 games to end the season. Then you win the SEC tournament, and then you want to go through and win the national championship. And that's our show pick, right? We have Florida, right? That's it. So that's our show pick. So our show bracket could win. I do not have Florida in my finals. And I think that this would be the time where we can unveil our Final Four Elite 8.
You don't have them in your Final Four, or you don't have them in the championship game?
I don't have my championship game.
Okay.
Now, I have my bracket pulled up. I can share my screen. Would you like me to go first?
Sure.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen. This way I can give you the presentation of what my bracket looks like. There you go. There you go. My national champion is the Duke Blue Devils. You guys see that right on the screen? Perfect. My national champion is the Duke Blue Devils. I'm all over Cooper Flag. I'll share it, guys. Go ahead. Copy my bracket. I have a lot of chalk. That's okay. A little SEC bias. That's okay. I have Auburn, and I have Auburn beating Michigan State, a 1 versus a 2. I have Duke beating Alabama, a 1 versus a 2. I have Tennessee beating Houston, a 2 beating a 1, and I have Florida beating St. John's, a 1 beating a 2. That is absolute chalk. It will not happen. I understand that, but it's tough for me to pick where these teams are going to lose. They're very good basketball teams. So Auburn has been the best team in the country all year. They've been the number 1. They got ranked as the number 1 team going into this bracket. They're a great basketball team. It's about time Bruce Pearl makes a big run with this Auburn team. They got knocked out very early last year. They're back. I think they're back for a huge run this year. Florida, as we talked about, I just think eventually you have to have a bad night. And I think their bad night comes, against Auburn. I think their bad night comes there. And it's you don't need a bad night to lose to Auburn. You know, you don't need it. You can just have a regular night and lose to Auburn. But a bad night versus Auburn, they're not playing anymore. On the other side, I can't get Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler out of my mind with Tennessee. I just think that, and guys, we said this last night, I really want to pick Gonzaga over Houston right here. I probably can. But it scares me because Georgia could beat Gonzaga. And then if you lose that, then you're you know what? I'm making a change right now. There you go. I made a little update to the bracket. I'm going with it. I'm not scared anymore. I got a 2 versus an 8 now. See, now it's crazy. But I got Tennessee playing Duke. Cooper Flagg's the best player in the country. I got Duke going to the finals. I think that after they get past Baylor, I think they're going to play a couple non-good defensive teams. And, you know, the way it's broken down, I'm going with the Duke Blue Devils. Give me Cooper Flagg. Give me the phenomenal freshman over Bruce Pearl in the national championship. Any questions or thoughts before I stop sharing?
I think you're underselling Houston, but it's the one. I mean, it's the one change I actually made in my bracket today. But I don't know. I don't think this is a typical. I think Gonzaga is good. I don't think this is anywhere near a normal team where we drool over them and hope, you know, Mark Few finally gets over the hump and wins one. You know, they didn't even win their conference this year, the regular season conference, which they pretty much do in their sleep usually. So I would be shocked if Gonzaga beats Houston, if I'm being completely honest. I think Houston's really good.
Any comments, Control?
Got none. I mean, I don't hate it. I think that Duke, you've been all over Duke and Cooper Flagg, of course. Which, I mean, they're a really good team. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they made it. Auburn, another great team there. The one issue that not issue per se with your bracket, I mean, I can go into mine next year, but it was tough to not go chalk. Like, I feel like those top teams, I know I said it on Monday, but I'll say it again today. There are so many good teams where I'm just like, I don't know if they can lose that game. Like Auburn, like their entire road, like I thought they got obviously a rougher road than Duke got, but like even still seeing that, I'm like, I don't know if they lose before the Final Four. Like seeing Florida's road, I don't know if they lose before the Final Four. Duke, of course, I felt the same way. So it was just so tough not to go chalk. Like I see you had 3 number ones. I also have 3 number ones in my Final Four, and I'll go ahead and share mine with you now. Let's see here. Bracket. Boom. All right. So my Final Four, I got 1 seed Auburn versus 1 seed Florida. And on the other side, I got 1 seed Duke. But I got the Clemson Tigers making it to the Final Four. We get a rematch. We're going to get the SEC versus the ACC. And then ultimately, I got Florida over Duke in the national championship. Before, I was all over Auburn, but man, the way Florida played in that SEC tournament, it really got me to even go even more all in on the Florida Gators this year. I think they are going to be the team that wins the national championship. Just to kind of give you a little bit more insight about how I got there. So in my Elite Eight, I had Auburn going up against Michigan State and them taking them out. And then I had another 1 versus 2 matchup. I had Duke versus Alabama. And I hate to be that chalk guy, but just kind of the way I saw it there. On my bracket, I had already had the Zags going to the Elite Eight. Had them going there taking on Clemson, but I like Clemson to win that matchup. And then on the other side, I got Florida taking on Memphis in that Elite Eight to get to the Final Four there. But
I like it. I think the problem with, and this is what I mean about picking a team to go to the Final Four that could lose day one. And I'm telling you right now that McNeese team is experienced. They are strong. It's funny because I did myself a little bit of a service and I watched a little McNeese basketball. And when I watched a little McNeese basketball, I seen guys that were aggressive. I seen guys that attack the basketball. And Clemson is physical, right? They're going to run into a team that's probably more physical than them in round one. And that's something that I don't know how they'll deal with. So do I think Clemson gets past McNeese? I think Clemson goes all the way to the Elite Eight. I think that you're absolutely right. I think that first game, Clemson versus McNeese, is a great basketball game. So I get it. Makes perfect sense to me.
I will say this. I think it's I don't want to say it's weird, but I think the other reason a lot of people are going chalk is I think unless something crazy happens, we've kind of already mentioned it. I feel like something would have to break bad for these number ones, all of them, not to get to the elite, at least the Elite Eight. Like, I feel like the way these brackets are going to break, I just don't know if anybody's in the upper half of any of them that you could definitively look at that game and be like, that's the one where one of them goes home. And, you know, I think when you start getting into the Elite Eight matchups with the number 2s or 3s or whoever we have at the bottom, it's a little different. But I just really feel like the top half of these brackets, all of them are kind of really advantageous for the 1 seeds to get there. And if they can coast to that point and then have to play 2 games to get to the finals, I think that's why you're seeing a lot of what you're seeing.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, like, you don't know how the other teams are going to do to get there.
Correct.
And I get it. Who is your Final Four, Joe?
I'm going chalk all the way across. I had Tennessee. Just the more I did some stuff with Houston today, and just, I think a lot of people think this is a Houston team that is kind of like it's been the last 2 years, where they've been really good defensively, but if you can score 65, you probably beat them. It's not what type of team it is this year. They have 3 really good guards. They could score. Still very, very good defensively. I think, you know, I have them against Tennessee, obviously in the Elite Eight. I think that's going to be a war. Like, I could see that game being 54-52. Like, I think that is going to be an old school type basketball game. And then I have Duke. I have Duke over who's the 2 in Duke's thing?
Alabama.
Oh, Alabama.
Yeah. I have Duke, Bama, Houston, Tennessee, Auburn, Michigan State, and then I have Florida, Texas Tech. That's the one where I'm off. I think Texas Tech squeaks by St. John's in the Elite Eight. Or Sweet 16, I mean, sorry.
No, exactly. I agree with you. He said all love for the 1 and 2 seeds. Now watch a 15-16 knock one of them off. I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what you live for, though. That's why. Listen, and you know what the best part of these brackets are? And if you haven't gotten a Wire2Wire bracket yet, you need to send freaking $20 and get a Wire2Wire bracket and support us. Like, that's a really easy thing. But you know what's great about these brackets are? No one's crying about losing $20. Come on. Good. I love watching March Madness to see that 15 seed, like St. Peter's or Oakland or, you know, a little Jack Golke action. Like, I love to see that Cinderella story and actually be able to knock off one of the big fish. Robert Morris action. You guys remember some of these teams? UMBC. I'll never forget watching that UMBC Virginia game because I didn't believe that UMBC would be able to beat Virginia until there was like 3.5 minutes left and they're up 7. And Virginia's pressing so hard to try to get the ball back. And UMBC keeps breaking the press and getting score after score after score. It was incredible to watch.
That guy who coached that team is now the head coach of somebody in this tournament.
Yeah.
VCU.
Is that who it is? Yeah. So
VCU.
That's another reason everybody's all over them. Yeah, I mean, listen, that is one of the things that makes March Madness absolutely unique. It makes it, you know, the spectacle that it is. We're going to line you guys all up and you're going to play. There's not going to be any, you know, arguing about, you know, only 10 teams getting in and seeding and everything else. We're going to take the top 64 and you guys are going to go settle it on the court. And that's the beauty of it. It is just, it's an incredible, incredible event. And it never, ever, it never fails to deliver in some form or fashion.
Completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's going to be a fun tournament. I'm looking forward to it. Who's your Final Four? Who's your national championship, Bill?
My Final Four is Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Houston. I have
all 4 number ones.
Yeah. I have Duke. I took Tennessee out. I have Duke beating Houston. I have Florida beating Auburn, and I have Florida beating Duke.
Okay. Florida beating Duke. So Catrella says Florida beating Duke. So you guys better change it before them. That Gonzaga Houston game means a ton for your bracket if Florida beats Duke in the finals.
For sure.
That could be the difference. For the women's side of things, I just, by the way, actually, you know what? Before we get to the women's side, just want to give a Final Four update on the women's and a champion. But what is one Cinderella team, a 10 or lower, that you can see making a run? Now, Bill, I know you said VCU earlier, and you can stay with VCU. It's fine.
That's my answer.
Is there another double-digit team that you think can make a run in this tournament, Cottrell?
Yeah. I mean, there's another 11 seed that I think could do the damage. I think Drake can be that team. I think, if they can get out that game against Missouri, next game would be against Texas Tech, which would be a very, very tough game. But I think if you're looking at that, like, Drake has the firepower to hang with a team like Texas Tech. And then the following game, they'd have to see potentially, Kansas, St. John's, Arkansas. Like, then we're looking at a team that could potentially be going to the Elite Eight. So I don't necessarily think Drake is a team that can win a national championship or anything like that. But in terms of just getting out of Welcome Weekend, double-digit seed that could potentially push for the Final Four, I mean, I think Drake could be a team to look out for.
There's just a lot of them, man. There's a real lot of teams that enter in this tournament that I think can make runs. I think I told you this already, guys. I'm so watching this 12-5 matchup of McNeese versus Clemson. I think McNeese. Here's a serious statement. If McNeese beats Clemson, I think they play High Point in the second round, and then I think they play Gonzaga in the third round. And I can see McNeese going all the way to the Elite Eight versus Tennessee. I can't see them knocking off Tennessee in that situation, but I think McNeese is a underrated team that you guys got to pay attention to. And that, but the funny thing is this, right? McNeese could easily lose to Clemson. Clemson's the type of team that makes a run. I think McNeese's toughest opponent until they get the Elite Eight will be Clemson. So they could have played them early. You can flip a coin in that game. I see it. I could be wrong, but I'm all over McNeese.
The other one that I'd want to mention as well is the one that, that is the one right there, Eric, North Carolina, the one that everybody agrees that shouldn't be in the tournament. Regardless if you're a fan of them or not. I mean, I think it's tough to hear the argument. I know they won. They're going to, ultimately play, but I mean, I think that's a team that will be capable of beating, Ole Miss in the first round. They actually have them beating Ole Miss. And in the second game, you're looking at the winner of Iowa State and Lipscomb. Well, Iowa State's, arguably second best player or arguable first best player is going to be missing that game. And so, I mean, if Iowa State goes down that game, or if they just don't have enough firepower to withstand the injury, like, we could be looking at a North Carolina team that gets out of that first weekend. And then at that point, I mean, it's anybody's ball game. So definitely another one that I wanted to highlight as well.
I love it. I'm fired up. Can we get into our women's Final Four? We got the whole show. We did a whole show on March Madness already. I want to get into my women's Final Four. I have it ready. I'll share it. And me and Control could just basically share the same screen because our Final Fours are so similar to each other. I mean, the Final Fours aren't similar, but the Elite Eight is exactly the same. But let's go right here. This is the Women's Challenge. This is what I got, right? I got the Trojans winning the national championship. If you guys didn't listen to me last year, maybe you'll listen to me this year. See, I end up sharing my screen. You can still see it switched over, didn't it? Yeah. I have the USC Trojans win the national championship. I have them knocking off UCLA, and these two teams have been going back and forth all year. UCLA beat USC, then USC beat UCLA. And at the end of the Big Ten tournament, UCLA beat USC. I think in the Final Four, you see USC and Juju Watkins beating UCLA. And on the other side of things, I think there's a huge big three in Notre Dame that just people need to look out for. Granted, they lost to Duke in the ACC tournament. That's okay. I'm all right with it. I have Notre Dame knocking off Texas and TCU to get to the Final Four and beating South Carolina with that big three over there in Notre Dame. You got 2 top 5 picks in the WNBA draft, and they're not even their best player. That's not even their best player. The best player on Notre Dame is going to be there for another year, and it's Hannah Hidalgo. I think that you're going to have Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles, and Sonia Citron, and Notre Dame is going to go to the finals and lose to the USC Trojans and my girl, Juju Watkins.
Yeah, so it's actually funny that you have it that way because, like you said, our Elite Eights are exactly the same. So I'll go ahead, get mine up. But we only have one of the same in the Final Four. So go ahead and share mine. So just to look into what I had cooking up here, I'm rolling with LSU on the left side of things there, taking on UConn. I got UConn advancing out of that game. On the other side, I got South Carolina taking care of business against Texas. Texas, they're a 1 seed. I feel like they are, and Gene, this isn't like a dig at you because you have them going to the Elite Eight, but I feel like they're a 1 seed that's just been getting disrespected by a lot of people. Madison Booker's been one of the best players in the country all season. I just think Dawn Staley and company have too much for Texas. Believe they actually played earlier this year, and the last time they played, Texas won the matchup. It was a great game. It's an ABC game. I want to say it came on like a Saturday or Sunday, but I watched it all the way through. It was an absolutely phenomenal game. But I think Malaysia Fulwiley and Chloe Kitts are just going to be too much for them. They move on to the championship game. But in those games, as great as Chloe is and as great as Malaysia is, in these big-time matchups, you need that one that can take the game over. And I got that being Paige Buckets doing so. I like UConn, go on, win the national championship this year. This is what Paige came back to school for. She had unfinished business last year, and as great as that Iowa team was last year, they were so close to taking them out, taking out Caitlin. Just didn't get it done. I feel like they go back. They have the sour taste in their mouth, and they go out and get it done this year. You may be asking, where's Juju and company? I think this USC UConn game in the Elite Eight probably is going to be the best game in the entire tournament. Like, I think that is the one where you have to see Paige versus Juju.
It's absolutely a crime that's in the Elite Eight.
For sure. It definitely is when you have the 2 biggest stars right now in college basketball. But yeah, I think that is the one that's going to be absolute must-watch TV there. Got Texas versus Notre Dame on the other side in the Elite Eight. And then up top, I'm pretty sure I went chalk. I think I had Duke and UCLA in there as well. Yep, so South Carolina taking on Duke, and then I had UCLA taking on LSU. I just think Flau'jae and the other girls from LSU that's going to the league this year. I don't know why her name just escaped me right now, but I think they're just going to be too much. Kim Mulkey's going to coach up a great game plan, and I got LSU going to the Final Four.
It'll be interesting.
All right. I did this really quick, so I didn't put as much time into it because I know you guys filled out your whole brackets. I haven't really even looked at the women's one yet until today. But my Final Four is going to be UCLA, UConn, South Carolina, and I originally picked Notre Dame. I'm sticking with Notre Dame. I agree with Gene. I think there's big 3. I think they get it done. I do think it sucks that USC and UConn are obviously in the same quarter, but I think it almost guarantees that we get that game versus if they're on opposite sides of the bracket, we may never get it. So sign me up to watch it because I do agree with Cottrell. I think it's going to be a great game. I have UConn beating UCLA to get to the finals, and I have Dawn Staley and company handling business in the bottom, and I got South Carolina over UConn in the finals.
I mean, that would be great. Gino versus Dawn. I would love to see that. Guys, let me ask you a question. If we get Juju versus Paige in the Elite Eight, if that happens, I hope that happens. That would be – where does that rank to you? Well, where does that rank for you amongst Like I guarantee you it won't outdraw Angel and Caitlin last year. It won't. Their Elite Eight matchup that they had last year, it just won't outdraw it. But do you think that's the most watched game of the tournament? Because it's the two biggest stars. Because last year, the most watched game of the women's tournament was LSU Iowa. It wasn't the national championship. It was LSU Iowa, part 2, I guess you would call it, the year. But where would you do you think that game could be the most watched game of the women's bracket?
I would say it is, because I think ESPN will obviously promote the hell out of it too, if that's what we get to. So, a lot of these other teams are bigger schools that have bigger followings. I think the ratings, I think they'll do okay. But Juju, unfortunately, is still probably not. She's not as much of a household name, obviously, as Caitlin or Angel is, and obviously with the rivalry and everything that went back and forth. Not to mention, like you said, it was a 2-year long thing.
Yeah.
You just don't have that in this tournament. So I will say overall, though, I would expect this to be the most watched women's tournament ever overall for averages per game, everything like that. I think you're going to see a big spike in viewership for this tournament.
Cottrell?
Yeah, and I think, USC UConn probably would be the most watched game there. The only other one that I think could potentially be close is depending on who wins. I think if you can get an LSU South Carolina matchup, I think that would be something that would be close there a lot, because LSU has this backing now because of the whole Angel Reese and all the stuff that they've done, but also because they've been winning. Like Kim Mulkey has always had a following, watching her play, and now Dawn Staley is as far as coaches go, she is the face of women's college basketball. Obviously it used to be Gino, but now Dawn is taking that over, and she is the one that's in control of college basketball there. So I think there are some teams. Even Juju.
Did your Dawn get a little snippy about the rankings?
She did. She basically said, if this is how we're going to do it, I'll just start to schedule nobodies and beat the hell out of the SEC and get the number 1 overall seed every time. If that's what y'all want me to do, I'll do it.
Listen, man, she's like you said. She's debatably the face of the game now, and she's made that place for herself through a lot of success, a lot of hard work, and she doesn't bite her tongue around the boys. So there's a lot of people. I think that's what's made. You guys remember the whole UConn, Tennessee thing. That was part of it that made that great. Pat Summitt spoke her mind about Gino, did not care, and then for a while, UConn just ran the sport and nobody really wanted to say anything to Gino or, even get into any kind of spat with him. It's a little different now. I think with these other programs that have caught up and all the resources and just obviously the expanding of the women's game in general, and there's so much more talent to be spread out in the parity. UConn's just not as dominant as they used to be.
Gentlemen, anything else we need to talk about? We had a whole show over 3 hours. And now the first segment, I think we're ready for March Madness. We got to talk about some other stuff. We got the shortstops coming up here. We got trivia. We got some NFL free agency, and we got to break down some NBA. If you haven't got a bracket, get a bracket. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. March Madness is going to be great tomorrow. I know where I'll be parked at 12 o'clock. But let's get rolling. We got a shortstops list, man. I'm ready for baseball. I am absolutely ready for baseball. Now, this is the 6th.
Wrong one.
You're going to post this 6 through 10 first, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
That was second base, though.
I seen. Oh. Well, the 6 through 10 is posted on our page. You can see that now if you like, but he'll obviously have it up on the screen.
Yeah, we work on getting that posted. Looks like that had the wrong one, but 6 through 10. You guys can talk about what you guys had. We were basically the exact same.
I just have Willie Adames over Jeremy Pena.
Yeah, and I will say Willie not making my list, that may seem like a shock after the year that he had last year, but I think that we've seen the way players look their first year going to a different team. Like we've seen it happen with Frankie. We saw it happen with Corey Seager. We saw it happen with Xander. Like that's ultimately for me what I'm projecting. Next year, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in my top 5. But I think just the way that the shortstops, once they moved over to the new teams, that little slump that they have that first year was a big reason why I didn't have him in my top 10 this year.
I guess that's fair. We all had Trey Turner at 7. It looks like me and Cottrell had Corey Seager at 6. I'm assuming Corey Seager's 5 for Shally. We'll find out shortly. Shally has Ellie De La Cruz at 6. I'm assuming that's because of his defense, because he likes to throw the ball in the crowd a ton. But he does. There's absolute truth to that.
Yeah, there is.
All right, so let's go ahead now. Let's do it.
I'm ready. I'm EA Sports. I'm in the game.
I'm sure you are. So do we still want to see the? Yeah,
we should post them real quick just so people can see.
For sure. All right. So, bam.
There we go. Anything? Shout. Me and Cottrell really don't have much to fight over. Anything on your on either one of our lists that you agree, disagree, or what your thoughts are?
No, I mean CJ was probably 11 for me. I have no, and again, if you're just projecting them a little bit better, I think Washington in general, I've said this before, I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think they're going to be this year. So I have no problem with CJ Abrams. No, I don't, nothing. I mean, no, we're good.
I'm a Corey Seager guy, but I couldn't have him crack the top 5. I'm sure he's your number 5.
You know what's funny, Gene? I was literally waiting on like your list because I had me and Bill talked about because he sent me his list earlier on Monday, and like we kind of had a conversation, and that'll kind of take us right into the top 5 here. But I was definitely expecting your number 5 to be Corey Seager.
You know,
that was the hard no, because that was part of our conversation. Like Cottrell was like, thought this list was really hard, and I was like, actually, I think this list for me was very straightforward. I said the only thing I struggled with was 5 and 6. That was the only one I had any kind of issue with.
I mean, our top 6 are all identical.
Yeah,
facts.
And our top 2 are all identical. And the way we have 3 through 6 is just a little bit jumbled. And in reality, it's 3 and 4 just swapped on ours and Shally's list, which is fair. Frankie is incredible and he's awesome. I'm a huge Mookie guy. And then having Ellie's offense and his electricity over Corey Seager is where I'm at. It's not the end of the world. I think that this should be a rather quick go through though.
For sure. And I was telling Bill, I felt like Mookie was probably the hardest person to place here just because of obviously, the offensive numbers are going to be great, but just with it still being a fresh position for him, I know it'll be another full year under his belt at short, just where everybody else is at. It's kind of the one name that was hard for me to place there, but we'll start off at number 5 here, Ellie De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, I mean, I think with Ellie, you see it, like you see superstar written all over the kid. Only improving, obviously still very young, can steal a million bases in a season if he wants to. And I think
he only had 67 last year. Like, he's got to step it up.
I think as a whole, when you got Tito coming into town as well, that's gonna help him a lot as far as like situational baseball. He's gonna steal probably some RBI, steal some runs. Like I think that's definitely gonna help those numbers there as well. And yeah, I'm expecting him to have a monster breakout year this year. So I like Ellie coming in number 5.
5, I have Corey Seager, a guy that, if you've been listening to the show from the beginning, it's been a hot topic of conversation. He is Gene's boy. But listen, Ellie, if I would say this about Ellie still has a lot to improve, which is wild to say that when you watch him play. His ceiling, to Cottrell's point, though, is like the moon. The guy's a freak athlete. And I would say if you're an LA fan and you're a Reds fan, what's encouraging is a lot of the stuff he has to work on is starting to trend the right direction. But that being said, Corey Seager is a 300 hitter, 35 to 40 home run guy, underrated defensively. He's just not flashy. He's just very fundamentally solid. The consistency of that 100, 120 RBIs, and what's going to be another very good Texas Rangers lineup this year. I can't. It's hard for me to put super potential over something what I think is more of a known quantity and what's going to happen. Ellie could prove me wrong, and I'll gladly take the egg on the face. I think Ellie's going to be a guy that's going to be number 1, number 2, or number 3 on this list for the next decade in a couple years. It's another year of improvement for him. And Corey Seager's a more known quantity, and I know what I'm getting out of him. That's why I put him number 5.
Now you say that, and I listen. Of all people, I would love to have Corey Seager 5, but I went when I went through the numbers. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz had a better year than Corey Seager last year, so it's not like I'm picking him based off potential. He's been better for an entire year, and he's upcoming. Last year's WAR numbers, just looking at wins above replacement, Corey Seager was a 5, Ellie De La Cruz was a 5.2. I just want to be unbiased when I say this. When I see a rising superstar in Ellie De La Cruz, I would love to put Corey Seager over him. I would. I'm a big Corey Seager guy, but I think Ellie De La Cruz improves a ton on his defense this year. And if he is still one of the most electric players and takes another jump forward, the guy might steal 90 bases this year. He's unbelievable. I got Ellie De La Cruz number 5. Number 4, I got Frankie Lindor. And this is no slight to Frankie. I cannot wait to get to Bill's number 3, because when I looked at this list, I looked at the top 3 and then a gap before I got to 4. I think there's a gap between Mookie Betts and Francisco Lindor. I think Mookie's just a better ball player. And I think this year, another year playing shortstop, I think he'll absolutely be a better defender than he was last year. And he was a decent defender last year, just moving the shortstop. Mookie's a better hitter than Frankie. Frankie's taking away runs, which is absolutely there. But I have Francisco Lindor number 4. And I think there's a gap between 4 and 5, but I also think there's a gap between 3 and 4.
Just to circle back on the other thing. I mean, Corey Seager missed 50 games last year. Only had 2 less RBIs. Still hit more home runs. And hit higher average. And, I mean, we won't even get into the defensive run save conversation because it's comical. But that being said, I have Mookie 4. And to answer your question, I have Mookie 4 because we finally got Cleveland Guardians Frankie Lindor back last year. Switch hitter, top of the lineup, just freak, and defensively he is noticeably better. But Mookie being said, it's going to be a little bit longer year. It's a more of a grind again to play the shortstop position than it is right field. Mookie is definitely, I would say, I think Mookie's the more consistent hitter. I think when you level everything out, with home runs, RBIs, runs, everything, they're both going to be close. Frankie is, again, better defensively. I think Frankie finally has gotten rid of kind of the juxt of moving to New York and kind of finally got his feet underneath him. But Mookie is going to be above average defensively. That's where he's going to be. He's not going to be a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. He's going to be very good, and he's going to put up crazy numbers because he's going to have Shohei and everybody hitting behind him. But again, if I get the same year out of Frankie this year that I did last year with elite Gold Glove, kind of defense, that was a little bit of the determining point for me. So that's why I have Mookie 4 and Frankie barely edged him out at 3.
Yeah, and so for me, I got Francisco Lindor, the Mets here. Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy because if you look at his numbers, I think he finished second in MVP. But if you really look at the numbers and look at where he was at, like 50 games into the year, you were thinking that, oh, this is a guy who probably won't even be on the top 10 of shortstops of the next year. And then he just went on an absolute tear once we got into the summer and really never looked back. And so, if we're getting that Francisco Lindor, then every single year he's going to be in that top 5. And I think, that's what we're going to get. We're going to get him being more consistent this year. He's going to give you 30-plus home runs. He's going to give you 100-plus RBIs. Bill talked about his defense. He is very good defensively at short. But for me, number 3, just leading me right in there with Mookie. I think Mookie is a guy that is a better offensive talent. I mean, he's going to be right there. But at the same time, you're going to have Mookie another year at short, and I think he's going to be much better. Bill, you say above average. I agree with that, but I think he's going to teeter. I don't think he's going to ultimately get the Gold Glove, but I think he's going to teeter and be in that conversation of guys, elite at that position. So I think Mookie is absolutely incredible. The numbers are going to be there offensively, of course, and then what he can provide for you defensively as well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year if Mookie Betts had the best offensive numbers of everybody on this list. Like, that's how good he is offensively. So I got Mookie at 3, but like I said, I think he was the hardest person for me personally to place.
Yeah, number 3, I had Frankie. Like I said, he looked like old Frankie last year. Finally, kind of the what we were waiting for, since he signed there. 273, but his power numbers were back. 33 home runs, 91 RBIs. Almost 8 for Fangraphs WAR. I believe he was a finalist for the Gold Glove this year. But he's right in that conversation every year. You put all that together, it equals a very good thing. Mookie, I don't think Mookie will ever be a finalist in the National League for shortstop. There's just too many good defensive shortstops. Not saying he can't; he's a freak athlete. But again, I think the position playing there is more of a grind day in, day out than it is in right field. And again, it's a tough transition. I'm not saying he's not going to excel because he's an amazing baseball player, but Frankie's played there his whole career. He's been elite defensively his whole career. Offensively, he's back with a Mets lineup that should be even better this year than it was last year. I don't think his numbers drop. So he's number 3 for me.
I have Mookie Betts number 3. He got hurt obviously last year, but I think that he obviously bounces back. Batted 290. His offensive numbers are incredible as usual. Coming off a 300 performance, he had that slow start in the playoffs. Everyone called him out on it, and all of a sudden, Mookie Betts became Mookie Betts again. I think he's one of the best players in baseball. The problem is most years we talk about the best players in baseball being outfielders. We get that outfielder list, we're like, whoa. 2 of the best players in baseball are shortstops. 2 of the best young players in baseball, Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Witt Jr., are absolutely out of this world. Gunnar Henderson Jr. is my number 2, and I think he takes another step in the right direction. Guy's been incredible throughout his major league career. He's only been in the major leagues for 3 years, and he batted 281 last year. Good defensive player, great offensive player. He's at the top of a young Orioles lineup. He played 160 games last year. Like, the guy just does it all. 37 home runs, power numbers to go with average. A 9.1 WAR. Gunnar Henderson's just next level. It's my number 2.
I've got a number 2 as well. Everything Gene said is spot on. On top of all that, he's kind of become the face of that team. And if you would have told anybody that 3 years ago, including probably everybody on this show, we would have disagreed. He's the best player on that team. And I don't think we've seen it. I don't think we've even come close to seeing his best season yet. There's one area I would like to improve. It would be defense, and that's one of the big things for me that separates him and Bobby. So, but it's getting better. He's working on it. He was projected to possibly be a third baseman coming up, but they just made the move and put him at short because it was just going to be undeniable with his bat. They had to put him in there. So, the kid's great. He's only getting better. Like I said, I don't think we've seen anything close to his best year or a peak year. He's the leader of that team. And it's a lineup that should be deep and should put up massive numbers again. This is going to kind of turn into like the Nomar Jeter A-Rod thing, I think, with these two. It's just going to be hard to year in and year out pick between the two of them because I think they're both that good. So, but he comes in number 2 for me this year.
Number 2 for me, I have Gunnar Henderson as well. You guys have said a ton about him already. I mean, now unquestioned leader of that Baltimore team there. Of course, they have all the young kids, but Gunnar has been, the best player on that team. But for me, you guys talk about the defensive numbers and, where he's at defensively. I don't think it's crazy for him to take a Bobby Witt Jr. kind of leap defensively. If we're being honest, Bobby Witt was pretty bad defensively a couple years ago. And he not only worked on that, he became elite at the position. But Bobby right now is just on another level. These two are right there neck and neck with each other. But the way Bobby came on last year, the way he locked in defensively last year as well, it was tough for me not to have him number 1 on this list. So I agree with you, Bill, in the sense that these two are going to battle back and forth. But just where Bobby's at right now, I just think for me, it was easy to put him at number 1 over Gunnar in this instance.
Gene said something a couple minutes ago that I think is spot on. You could sit here and make the case that Bobby Witt's one of the top 2, 3, 4 best players in baseball. It's not an outfield only list right now. Biggest knock on him was his rookie year was his defense, and he was all over the place. Spent the entire winter working on it. What's he do? He comes out, wins the Gold Glove last year. Guy's elite. I think he should have won the MVP. I think he got robbed of the MVP because of the New York media. And again, he's another one. He was the can't miss guy from, I think, 4 years ago when they drafted him. And he is showing why he is every bit that player. He's a complete 5-tool player, does everything at an elite level. Like I said, defense was the one thing he had to shore up, and he absolutely did. And he led a really, for lack of a better term, carried a very average Royals team last year on his back, got him into the playoffs. Like I said, I think he should win MVP. He would have had my vote. And I don't think we're even close with him either of seeing the best year of his career. I think him and Gunnar are just absolutely capable of putting up just stupid video game type numbers, and I think you'll probably see it both from both of them in the future. So Bobby Witt was an easy number 1 for me this year, across the board. It was just very easy to pencil in.
This might sound disrespectful, and I don't want it to sound disrespectful. I don't think it's that close between the future of Bobby Witt Jr. and Gunnar Henderson. About Bobby Witt Jr., it's funny, when we talked about this 3 years ago when we did these lists, me and Bill had Bobby Witt in the top 10 of our third baseman's list his rookie year because he came up as a third baseman. This guy's an absolute can't miss prospect. And now he's in the major leagues and he's finally hitting his full peak. He had a 332 last year, 32 home runs, played 161 games. The guy does everything, and he won a Gold Glove. So, for this guy to be that good, 32 home runs, 30 stolen bases, 332 batting average, one of the best defensive shortstops in the game. What? I feel like I'm watching The Internship. First we're in a blender, and now we're saving lives. What? When you watch Bobby Witt Jr., you're watching a guy that is the future face of baseball. And that's how good he is. And that's no slight to Gunnar. I love Gunnar Henderson. I just think that statistically you're comparing A-Rod and Jeter. And Jeter was great. Statistically, obviously take the steroids away, he was no A-Rod. By the way, I just want to, John, I've seen a couple of your comments. This is a shortstop list. We gave our information. Cottrell did it on the fly and used the graphic. It's a shortstop list, not a second baseman list. Don't worry about the graphic saying second base. It's a shortstop list. He kept bringing up second basemen. That's why I brought that up. Thank you, though, for getting that done. And by the way, if it doesn't get said enough the right way, huge shout out to Cottrell. Cottrell does all our graphics, does the intro. If you can't see, he does the background for every show, episode 232. He does the graphics for our March Madness, the graphics for our top 10 list. I mean, the guy is all world. So, thank you so much for that. So I don't want to sit here and be like, Control missed a typo. He does everything right. So what I'm saying is give us a break. I apologize. It's probably me and Bill's fault for getting the list late. It's probably not Bill this week. It's probably me. I think Bill actually got his list over Monday.
It wasn't me this week.
I apologize. We did the whole 3-hour March Madness thing. It's not my
I know. Yeah, we had a jam-packed week. So
that was the exact reason why I got mine ever before, because if not, it would turn into Tuesday night again. Getting screamed at in the group chat by Cottrell.
I was I was on the golf course.
Tired of all your bullshit.
I was on the golf course Tuesday, and Cottrell texted me shortstop list. I'm like, I gotta finish this. I'm literally in the car, and I just did the drive of my life. Drive of my life on the par 4 at Linfield over the trees, like 30 feet from the green. And I'm like finishing my shortstop list as we're driving up.
All right, gents.
It's trivia time.
They're basically easy. Just put Alec Bohm first. The rest of it's all detailed.
See Gene have an aneurysm on the show.
Bro, I'm going to be honest. If Alec Bohm is not in your top 10, then you've no credibility. I'm joking about putting him number 1, but there's no way there are 10 better third basemen in the league than him right now.
I will find them.
Right.
I'm gonna find prospects.
Bro, you better come with numbers next
bro,
week.
It's about to be what was the Disney movie, bro? Where they started he went out finding people playing cricket.
I love that, but you're talking about the movie where they go over to India?
Finding cricket players. Yeah,
that movie is a great movie.
This is gonna be Gene.
$1 Million Arm, it's called.
Yes, $1 Million Arm. Yep.
Great movie.
Gene's about to be doing that, finding third baseman better than.
There's a kid in Japan thinking about playing baseball. I got him number 10.
It's like I saw him throw a piece of paper across the room.
You should have
cannon.
And he showed up in the playoffs. It was wild.
All right, gents. Well, this week, in honor of March Madness, we had to go back to it. I was a little disappointed. Gene was kind of throwing some names out there. Not a lot of them, but he had a couple names out there that are going to be, some names that get thrown out here, either as guesses or as answers. But this week, we have.
I don't like this already.
There have been 13, 15 seeds or lower.
I love this.
To win one game in the NCAA tournament.
I get to go first, too.
So, with that said, there was a lot of names thrown out earlier. I don't want you to just assume that those were the 15 seeds. But, there have been 13, either 15 or 16.
I love it.
To win a game in the March Madness tournament. So,
I got to start with the one I've mentioned 16 times. I want UMBC.
Of course, they are on the list.
16 over a 1. Love it. I definitely threw out like 3 already.
I will go with Lehigh.
It's a good one.
Lehigh is on the list.
Yo, I won't take any of the Duke ones. Just so I think there's 2 Duke ones on here. Okay, so give me the most popular one, the one that took it the longest. Give me FCGC, Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City. Bang.
I'm glad you said the school name because those abbreviations you had were very off, but we'll take it. Florida Gulf Coast.
FGC.
You said FCGC. That's not them.
I said FGC. Or whatever, doesn't matter. Dude, I can't. I'm sick thinking about this one. I can't tell you how much money I've lost on this next one. I lost so much money on
I forgot about that one. Oh, I'll take Abilene Christian then.
That's not it. They were a 14.
Abilene Christian is strike one for Bill.
They were a 14. The other one I lost a lot of money on. And I got to tell this story. I hope Adrian's paying.
Did you say 13th or lower?
I said 15 or lower.
Oh.
So I got to tell this story. Jacob is at Adrian's house, and I have a parlay that ends with Kentucky money line. Okay, I got it. Trust me, Control. I'm not stalling for time. I'll give you the team name. But it ends with Kentucky money line, and Jacob doesn't know I have this big parlay, and it ends with Kentucky money line. And Jacob throws in this $10 bet on St. Peter's to beat Kentucky, and I'm not kidding with you. He's got a Shamrock Shake, drunk as hell, about to jump through a TV. And dude, he's like trying to win $54, and I'm losing like $2,000 with this parlay. I'm like, I will give you the $54. Shut up. Every time St. Peter's made a shot, all you hear is Jacob going absolutely ballistic. Give me St. Peter's, who knocked off Kentucky.
St. Peter's is correct. So we are 3-1 right now. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this up here as well for those that keep asking the question.
My comments are off. I didn't know they were asking.
I believe Princeton did it once. I just don't know if they were 15 or 16. I got Lehigh by accident because I thought Lehigh was at 14 that year. Which is more funny.
That's CJ McCollum taking out Duke 15.
I'll go with Princeton.
Princeton is correct.
Now, there's two more I know. One of them, I think I was sitting, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was sitting right next to Cottrell for it. And it was that the year we watched it together? Did you have to watch your Ohio State Buckeyes lose to Oral Roberts right next to me at Chicky and Pete's?
Yeah, that was that day.
Oh, God. Give me Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts is correct.
I have one more, and I think I'm out. There's one more I know, and then I think I'm out. So I'm not sure how many Shally knows, but I have one more I think I know. I actually know I know because I remember why it happened and how it happened and how happy I was when it happened.
All right. Give you a nice 20 seconds here. I'll give you guys 30 seconds as a whole because this question is a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I have one more. That's it. How many we got right now?
Right now you have 6.
And there's 13?
There's 13.
Oh, God. I have one more.
Keep it who the hell beat Purdue a couple years ago.
Oh, God, that's my one, too. Please don't use that one. You don't know the name. Shut up.
Actually, I think I do.
I lost track of the time here, but give me.
I think I know it for a weird reason too. I'm pretty sure it's Fairleigh Dickinson.
Is that the guess?
Yep.
Fairleigh Dickinson is correct.
They beat the big stiff Zach Edey before he went on a run.
Monster Edey.
It is 4-3.
That was the 16 over the 1. That was the one of the two of them. There's 2 16 over 1s. I named UMBC. You named Fairleigh Dickinson. That's the only 2 in the history of college basketball.
That is correct.
I don't know another one. I'm going to just start. George Mason. Were they a 15?
George Mason is not correct.
Okay.
They were like 11 or 12, I thought.
They were an 11.
Wow, that's terrible. Just throwing out 11s. They made the Final Four. I think that's why the George Mason hype was in my head.
Yeah.
That's
Bill,
terrible.
it's on you.
I'm trying to think of small schools.
Bro, I don't know any.
This is tough. I'll go with Bryant.
Bryant is incorrect.
I don't know. You know, it's fun. So funny. I was so like hype about the ones. I wasn't even thinking like forward. I was just like, I know this one. I know this one. And then like in my mind, I'm like, now I'm screwed.
If you'd like, wait, Gene, did you start?
I started.
Okay. Do you guys want hints this round, or do you want to?
Dude, I'll take a hint anytime. It's just
Bill.
Sure.
All right. So I'll give you the years that these happen. So the most
got nice hair.
What'd you say?
Shelly's got nice hair.
The years they happen. You have 2016. You have
2016 one.
2016. You have 2012. And then the rest of these are a little older. You got 2001, 1997, 1993, and 1991.
Yeah, that didn't help. The 2016 one makes me try to remember something.
I think I know the old one. And it's fun. Never mind. I'm going to shut up because it'll give it away.
No, say it. What are you saying? Just give us a lead, Bill. Let us know what the lead is.
I'm not giving you a lead because you'll get it right away.
Is there a New York team? There's got to be a New York team. What was that team that's St. Peter's? I'm just trying to think in my head.
This is a hard ass question.
What is the next?
I mean, you guys got 7 of them, like pretty easy.
Got the popular recent one. Yeah.
I knew the Lehigh versus Duke because
I was gonna say Lehigh didn't happen.
Lehigh happened.
I mean, I know. I'm just saying, like that didn't happen recently, is what I meant to say.
But that was like the first real big one where Duke got knocked out.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you want to know who? You guys want to know who the teams were that they beat? Like these teams beat?
I'll take anything. I don't want to.
That's gotta be next round. What's the score right now? I'm down by 1.
You're down by 1.
You are down by 1. Correct.
I will pass because I'm stuck. So I will pass. Let him get his 1964 one.
No.
He was in 10th grade.
No, I want to say I was in like 7th grade.
Give me the schools that as soon as
I was going to say it's the debate of 2 players that you two argue about all the time. Because I think he did this when he was in college. I want to say Santa Clara because of Nash.
Is that a guess?
Yeah.
Santa Clara is correct. Steve Nash, freshman year, beat Arizona.
I don't remember that at all. I would never.
You were if I was in 7th grade and you were how old are you?
2.
What year was it?
93.
I was 8.
Yeah, you weren't watching basketball yet, probably.
No idea. All right, give me the schools that they beat. I'm good. I'll take anything.
All right, so we will go 2016. The team that lost was Michigan State. 2012, the team that lost was Missouri. 2001, the team that lost was Iowa State. 97, the team that lost was South Carolina. And 91, the team that lost was Syracuse.
Don't know that. I think that I can. I know. I think I know one of them. I think one of them is a team I constantly bring up on this show because I remember Michigan State losing to them. Is it the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders?
It is indeed Middle Tennessee.
I remember that. Tom Izzo on the sideline was absolutely like the calmest I've ever seen a coach for losing. Like I thought he was going to be going ballistic. He was the calmest I've ever seen a coach to watch his team lose to a 15. I don't think it was a close game either. Was it a blowout? Do you remember the score?
It was 90-81.
Maybe it got close at the end. That was not a close game. I remember watching Izzo just fold on the sideline. That's all I got there. I'm done. If Shally gets 2, just give him the win. I'm done. I'm serious. I'm done.
Just start saying small schools. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Bill. We are on to you, my friend.
I will go with
Dead silence on the air. You can hear it. Am I up one? I'm up one.
I believe so. Let's see.
I think I'm
1,
up one.
2, 3, 4,
give it to him.
5.
I'll
Yes.
go with Winthrop.
Winthrop is incorrect.
Okay.
I don't know how long you guys want to do this. No, it's my question here, but
what's your call? Whatever you want to do.
I'm a man of the people.
You, if Bill gives two, I'm done.
I am a man of the people. Whatever you guys deem is fair here.
I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start naming like really local schools that I know haven't won. Just to my turn. Like Temple. There we go. Temple Owls. John Cheney did it.
Temple is incorrect.
Okay.
Can we get team colors?
The next one that I will give you, I just have to work on getting it. I'll get you their conference.
Not gonna help me at all.
Not gonna help me at all. Not in basketball. 400 Division I teams.
You know what? It might help me if it's like an Atlantic 10 school or like a local.
Yeah, you can get through them.
Oh, am I up or you're up? You're up.
It's Bill's turn. And I'm giving you guys extra time to think here because I'm grabbing these teams' conferences so then I can give them to you.
Got it.
I will go with who else is small? I'll go with Radnor.
It's a good one.
Radnor is incorrect.
Fucking game.
St. Joseph's. Did they win one?
St. Joseph's is incorrect.
I thought St. Joseph's made like a run out of
You know what
I'm talking about?
Yeah, but they were like a 1 seed that year.
No. No. I'm talking about the year when they made a run. I think they probably were 14 or 13. They won a game and then they came really close to winning a second game. I'll bet you if you look it up, St. Joseph's is like a 13 or a 14 to have a win.
Maybe.
I'm just so 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is the other one.
Are any of these teams close to Pennsylvania?
Bro, I don't know where these schools are located.
Great. It's even worse.
If you give me your next guest here, I can give you all of their conferences.
He doesn't know where they're located. I love it.
It's not good. It's not good at all. It's not good for the outcome of this game. I
love that.
Did Gonzaga do it back in the day before they became a powerhouse? I'll go Gonzaga.
Gonzaga is not on here, but now that we are there, we only got 4 more here. So I will go over their conferences. So 1, you guys were kind of on the money here. You have 1 A10 team left.
Oh Jesus, who guesses it first? Here we go.
Go through the A10.
You have 2 Mid-Eastern Atlantic schools.
Mid-Eastern Atlantic? I don't even know what conference that is.
That's probably where UMBC plays, probably.
Maybe.
And you also have 1 Coastal Athletic Association.
Jesus Christ, man.
Wait. You said where UMBC plays?
Mid-Atlantic.
Okay.
I said it could be.
What's the name of it again?
Mid-Eastern Atlantic.
Okay. Okay. All right. Duquesne
is not correct.
Okay.
About to start rolling though. I like that. You guys got some guesses though. I like that.
Well, I'm literally looking for small schools that live.
Okay. Did VCU do it?
VCU is not correct.
I have 9 strikes.
Give me how many more do you want to go until we just stop?
I was just gonna say 2 more rounds. So I say 2 rounds and then let's call it.
Give me the College of Charleston.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is incorrect. Great guess.
Sounds like a good guess.
Bro, they had a run back in like the early. They were in it like every year, dude.
The problem is that a lot of the time they were 14 seeds because I don't know why, but I vividly remember them being in the tournament a lot.
I got to guess. I don't think it's right, but I got to guess. Oh no, that would have been too recent. Never mind. There's nothing recent left, right?
You got a 91. You got let's say 91, 97, 2001, and 2012.
Okay. 2012. Okay, that might be it. I'm gonna take a shot at it.
You guess here, Bill.
James Madison.
James Madison's incorrect. We are on the final round here.
Give me Loyola, Chicago, and Sister Jean.
That's got to be it.
Loyola Chicago is incorrect. They were not a 15 or a 16 seed. Bill, one final shot for trivia this week.
Little schools down there. Who else is down there?
I want to give you a little bit of time here because I know it's the last one, but I'll say 20 seconds here. I'll give you 20. Call it a day.
I hope he gets it. Then we're stuck at a tie and trying to figure out one of the other ones. I don't.
Give me. I'll go another little school. That I feel like is in the tournament. It used to be a lot. I'll go the Spiders of Richmond.
Richmond is correct.
Serious? I love that. I love that. And that's the A10 school.
That is the A10 school.
Yeah. The problem is that. So how obscure are the other ones that are left down then?
The last three are insanely obscure.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What do you want to do?
I want to give you a tiebreaker here.
Okay.
But I gotta find it first. I'm gonna switch the question up because I don't think you guys will.
What were the other three? Can you just
I want to know what they are now.
All right, so the other three were Coppin State. They are in the Mid-Eastern Atlantic.
Nope.
Norfolk State is also in the Mid-Eastern.
I swear to you, my last round, I almost said Norfolk. Would you have gave it to me if I said Norfolk? I didn't know the Norfolk State. If I just said Norfolk, would you have gave it to me?
I probably wouldn't have. I don't know if there's a Norfolk University or not, but
I literally was going to say Norfolk because I think they're in Virginia, and I think that when he said UMBC, I was just like Norfolk. I was going to say literally do that. I didn't do it.
Isn't that where Vic just went?
Yes, it is.
Wouldn't have guessed it for Vic on this question.
And then the last one is Hampton.
Oh, that's the early 2000s. I should have got that one.
I remember that one.
That's a big one. I should have got Hampton.
Hampton was
Iowa State or Iowa, one or the other. They beat Iowa State, I believe, or Iowa. It was a 15 versus 2, like probably 2004.
Let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting your tiebreaker question.
It's a tiebreaker question. Don't worry about who Hampton beat.
Let's see.
Is this going to be like a first one to shell it out, or what are we going to do? We're not going to do it long. Just one question.
Yeah,
right?
I would say one question. First one to yell it out. Bro, why can't I get the answer that I'm looking for here?
I love it.
There we go. All right, so
total points in the UMBC game. I like that one.
I'll do this.
Okay.
Because you guys had two guesses. Well, actually, no, because you guys got that one already. Let's go points. We'll go. I like the points idea.
I like that. Just pick a game.
It is not going to be those games.
Okay.
Because this is a game that just happened. It should be still a little bit fresh in your minds.
Okay.
Give me the total points of the number.
Time out. So are we both giving one guess and who's ever closest? Or are we just going to keep yelling out numbers till somebody gets it?
No, we're gonna go closest
Yeah,
guess. Closest
Okay.
guess.
Yeah.
And it being over, under doesn't matter. Closest guess.
I hope you
Okay.
pick the game that I'm thinking. I have the score. I watched the game.
I'm gonna go with the number 14 seed Oakland beating Kentucky last year.
171.
Bill?
Oh, to go over or under.
You should go 170. You probably win. I took a high shot at a number because I think the game went into overtime. So I took a high shot at the number because I'm pretty sure the game went into overtime.
Yeah, but if he goes 170 and it was higher, then
That's fair.
he
But
do
I
himself
think
a
the smarter move
disservice.
is like the over under for the game was probably 146. Like I said 171 because I think I nailed it. Like I think it was like something like, yo, bro, I'm not kidding with you. I think that because I lost so much money on that game. I think that game was 88 to like 83. That's why I said 171. I think it was right in that range.
Bill, what's your number, buddy?
I'll go under. I'll go one. Well, you said 171. I'll go 170.
So the total number in that game was 156.
Oh wow, I wasn't even close. Congratulations, Bill.
156. 80 to
Hard
70.
stop doing that shit.
Hard
really fast.
Hard
just have
false
fun.
W this week.
I just have fun. Or maybe I'm an idiot. I don't know.
I don't know. Cottrell comes with another question like this again. He's fired.
Well, that was a great question. Come on now.
I had a lot of fun.
Great question.
I had a lot of.
It was a great question, but at like some point, like I would have looked at it and be like, they're not pulling Norfolk. They're not pulling. Like,
Which is why I was kind of banking on somebody getting the 6. So then that way. Yeah, I was banking on somebody getting the 6, so then that way we didn't have to get there. But you pull Richmond out of your ass, and then here we are.
A10. I wasn't getting the other 3. I promise you that.
All right. Get that thing off the screen. I don't know where you have it. It's under banners. There you go. All right. Let's talk about low NFL. The first thing I want to talk about, because I know it's going to start an argument, and that's why I want to bring it up.
Jesus.
No, I'm telling you, it's going to start. I promise you, it'll start an argument. Your thoughts on the Bengals re-signing Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, giving them all that money? I would love to hear your thoughts. Jamar Chase got exactly what I thought he was good. As soon as Myles Garrett signed, they just went, we'll go $1 over. Like they went 40.1. Like I think he got $60.4 million. Like I think it's like they just literally went 1,000 to 1. And then T. Higgins is the highest paid wide receiver 2 in the NFL. I think he got 4 years, $115 million, which is like close to like 27, 28, 29 a year, 27 and a half, something like that. Really good money. I seen a stat that was posted that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith count as $100 million less on the salary cap over the course of those contracts. But your thoughts on the Bengals re-signing their 2 receivers? And I know where Cottrell's smirk is going to head him. He's going to go, oh, look at Joe Burrow. He's got all these guys. Like I know it's, but I think personally that it's stupid. And I think that Joe Burrow could win without T. Higgins. I obviously think you should have re-signed Jamar Chase and took that T. Higgins money and used it to either give you an interior lineman or a defensive player, or give it to Trey Hendrickson, who I think he like led the league in sacks last year.
I'll go first here because I'm going to be quick because I'm going to agree with Gene. You brought up the thing, we have Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith for $100 million less than they have those 3. We just won a Super Bowl and have, widely regarded as the best all-around roster in football. Jamar Chase is a no-brainer. I mean, if he's not 1, he's number 2 in the league. I get that. I get that part of it, and I'm fine with that part of it. From T. Higgins' point of view, it's a great move. It's a great move to get your money and know that you're locked into Joe Burrow throwing you the football for the next couple of years. Makes tons of sense from his point of view.
Yeah.
From Cincinnati's, not so much. For, not to fan the flame, but for as much as we argue about what Joe does or doesn't do, or what, Cincinnati needs or doesn't need, overpaying T. Higgins didn't help that situation whatsoever to make them a better football team. Never fault anybody for getting their money per se. But I like, to your point, like now you got to pay Trey Hendrickson. So now you're going to have 4 guys making crazy money, and they have holes all over their football team in a division that is very, very good. I think it's very short-sighted from the Bengals' point of view as an organization.
Go ahead, Control.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I mean, it's not really much argument. No argument really from me. I mean, I think it was smart to pay Jamar. Well, I shouldn't say it was smart. I don't want to classify anything the Bengals do as smart, because we could be looking at a team that's paying out in total, like year over year, maybe like $10 million less, each year. Because you got to think, Justin Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, did he sign a 4-year, $120 million deal? Wasn't that just last year? So, if you would have just went in the last season and said, you know what, we want to pay you more than Jetta's got paid. We'll give you 4 years, $121 million. We'll match the guarantees that he got, and we'll call it a day. You're saving yourselves $40 million over the long run. That's mistake number one there. And then with the whole T. Higgins fiasco, you knew he said he wanted to stay. He wanted to play with Joe. He wants to be with his guy, Jamar. He even fired his agent to hire the same agent as Jamar. If you would have paid him last year, you're not talking about him being the highest paid number 2 receiver in the league. You're talking about him probably getting in the same money, or maybe a little bit more, than what Jerry Jeudy got with the Browns last year, which was around, I want to say, $16 or $17 million a year. They probably would have signed him for $21 million a year on a 4-year deal. You're sitting at, 4-year at $85 million. Yes, that's still a nice chunk of change for T. Higgins, but you're not batting an eye at that, keeping those 2 guys on the roster. So now you're shelling out $270 million for 2 receivers. That's not how you build winning football, especially on a team that has the amount of holes that they do. Now, I will say, though, we don't know, but I do wonder, what would Joe look like without those 2 guys, without Jamar, without T? I don't think we've ever would have got there. There's no way that they leave Jamar on the table. I think you have to pay him. But me personally, in this kind of class, I'm taking a receiver in the 2nd round and saying, hey, we know you're not going to match the production that T has, but you're going to get a lot of great looks because teams are going to be focused on Jamar Chase on the other side. But that would have been my approach.
To your point, and I agree with you, I don't think you could definitively say that, because I would spin that. Listen, they're never letting Jamar Chase walk out the door. So let's just put that to bed. You just to some degree, you're going to pay him whatever he wanted to be paid. That's just what it was going to be. You can't let him leave. But to your point, if I'm also the Bengals, if you want to go get a ton of money from some shit team where you're not playing next to Jamar Chase, what does T. Higgins look like not playing next to Jamar Chase, not having Joe Burrow throwing him the football? Show me what your market value is, because I promise you it's probably less than what he just got paid.
I just want to I kind of listen, this is not fair, because I kind of realized where I was going to go, and I kind of knew it was going to happen when Cottrell went, so I was kind of hoping it got there. So I just have little stats for you. Joe Burrow's stats in 10 games without T. Higgins. He has a 106 quarterback rating. He averages 262 yards, 2.3 touchdowns, and half of an interception. 70% completion percentage without T. Higgins. Okay, well, what are his stats without Jamar Chase? Oh, he's got a 100 quarterback rating, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a little bit over a half of interception. So, yeah, Joe Burrow still would be the most efficient quarterback in the league without Jamar Chase or without T. Higgins, because Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in football. And the only reason he's not the first best quarterback in football is because he got drafted by Cincinnati. If he got drafted by Kansas City, they might have 5 Super Bowls, because I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes is. And for the way we classify quarterbacks' greatness, just being winning, is just like who wins the lottery of where you get drafted? Who wins the lottery of what position or situation that you walk into, what head coach you get, what defense you get, what organization you get? Because you look at J.C. Horn's contract. He just signed a 4-year, $100 million contract. And everyone's like, oh, my God, J.C. Horn got $25 million a year. Until you look up the fact that he's been the second best cornerback in the NFL opponent's quarterback's passer rating when throwing to J.C. Horn. And you don't know that because he plays for Carolina, and Carolina sucks. Cincinnati's organization is an absolute train wreck. And Cottrell, I appreciate you highlighting that for me in that first sentence where you said if they would have signed him last year, they would have saved $40 million. You also highlighted the fact that they would have signed T. Higgins last year. They would have saved, they would not have been paying him the amount of money that they're paying him. The Bengals organization sucks. They had the 23rd ranked offensive line in football last year, and they had the 28th ranked defense in football last year. I'm sorry that Joe Burrow can't drag that team to the Super Bowl and win games.
Well, I'm not saying necessarily drag them to the Super Bowl, but I mean, I look at last year, I look at the Ravens, for example, and they were the worst statistic defense through the first 11 weeks, and they were 7-4 in that stretch with Lamar Jackson. And then I also look at Cincinnati Bengals team who went to the Super Bowl, and we all said, like, let's go get them an offensive line, and they're going to be here again the following year when they brought back a lot of their guys, and they brought back Lou Anarumo, and they went out and signed, they got Jackson Carman in the second round of the draft, and they traded for Orlando Brown, and they brought in Alex Kappa from the Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then we talked about how their line still sucked after making all those moves. And so, I mean, I get it. You know, we have to find something new. So now we're going to talk about, bringing those weapons back, and we're going to talk about how their defense still stinks next year. And even if they go out and Trey works out a deal, or they focus on defense the entire draft, when the Bengals inevitably win 9 or 10 games next year, we're going to have another conversations about what ifs. What if this happened? What if that happened? The same conversations we had with Andrew Luck 8 years ago when he retired, and the same conversations we're going to have when Joe Burrow inevitably retires early. The biggest what if in football. Great talent, great player. I'm the biggest Joe Burrow fan there is, but at some point, we got to stop talking in what ifs and talk about what we've seen.
You're not a Joe Burrow fan, but that's fine.
I am.
You gave me my whole time to speak. I gave you your whole time to speak.
I am the biggest Joe Burrow fan you will find. You
are incorrect. I am the biggest Joe Burrow fan you will find. I just called him the best quarterback in football. You rank him outside your top 5.
Joe Burrow that is incorrect. I said I always have had Joe Burrow as the number 3 quarterback in football. For whatever reason, that's like the biggest.
Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson's mother wouldn't have Joe Burrow behind Lamar Jackson.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, one of the quarterbacks can win with the shit defense, one can't.
I'm finished. I've made my point. I eloquently made it. Cottrell sat there and listened to it. I respected that. I let him make his point. I'll let the listeners be the decision.
I didn't think this was a negative Joe Burrow conversation, and somehow
I don't know.
I prepared. He said, "What would Joe Burrow?"
But it's like no.
But that's a serious question.
But after we went through the first round of this, there was nothing negative Joe Burrow.
But how did we get there, Bill? Who started it?
I'm not.
You did.
Who?
How did I start it? He said, I didn't say anything. He said, what would Joe Burrow look like without Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
That was a genuine question.
And that's why I responded. I was waiting for it. I wasn't going to bring the stats up. I had them ready. I wasn't going to bring them up until the comment came. And listen, was I petty with the comment? Was I waiting for it? Absolutely was waiting for it. But I wasn't going to say a word until I heard, well, what would Joe Burrow look like? And I had it ready. Joe Burrow stats without Jamar Chase Joe Burrow stats without T. Higgins. He's absolutely wide receiver proof. He doesn't need wide receivers to succeed, but you always place him in that category as if he does. He does not.
I don't place him in that category. I just say that I'm sure Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson would slaughter their firstborn for Jamar
and you
T.
say that all the time, and I'm telling you, Joe Burrow would slaughter his firstborn for the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs organization.
I'm sure. I'm sure he would, 100%.
I would like to point out that I had J.C. Horn, my top 5 quarterbacks, and I took shit for it. That's all I'm saying.
You did great. Great job. He was incredible last year. Him and Derek Stingley Jr. are going to reset the market for cornerbacks. I have reset the market for cornerbacks. That's the next topic that we're going to get into. J.C. Horn, awesome deal. Derek Stingley Jr., awesome deal. Record deal. $30 million for Derek Stingley Jr., $89 million guaranteed. Like, the whole contract's guaranteed. Well, it's like 3-year, $90 million contract, $89 million guaranteed. Just fully guaranteed the freaking contract. What are we doing here? That's weird.
Derek Stingley Jr. signed, I know not statistically, but Derek Stingley Jr. signed arguably the greatest contract in like defensive like NFL history. You get a 3-year deal, and when you're done, you get $90 million guaranteed basically. And when you're done, you're still going to be in the prime of your career where you can sign another deal on top of that, where you can get like the big deal. You can get the 5-year deal at that point for $100+ million, whatever the salary goes up to, where the normal deals are. This is an absolutely phenomenal deal from Derek Stingley Jr.
But you know what that tells you, Kittrell? That Derek Stingley Jr. absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, believes that he's the best corner in football.
Oh, for sure.
Like, he's not one of those guys that needs to lock in the money, be like, hey, look, I'm the best cornerback in football. Pay me long term. He believes it so much that he signed a 3-year, $90 million, broke a record, and he's like, I'm going to go do it again in 3 years.
Yep, and that's when I'm going to sign my long one. That's when I sign my long one.
I mean, he signed for chump change. I mean, you got $90 million. It's not
like
he gave money back to Houston here.
No, you're right. But in the sense of like, he'd go out and potentially have like 2 shit seasons and be like, damn, like, I mean, I'll sign another deal, but I could have got, $125 million if I would have just signed a 5-year deal now, kind of thing.
Good, you're smart. My follow-up question is, when has Surtain signed an extension yet or no?
Yeah, signed it last year.
Yep, he signed it last year. The next one up is Sauce.
Yep. And he's going to get a monster contract.
The question is going to be, does he do the short term or does he go the 5-year, 6-year, whatever?
I think Sauce should do your long term or long term.
I'm not signing for 6 years with the Jets. You're out of your goddamn mind.
I say this.
I'll be like, you can franchise tag me. You guys see what you guys do. If you don't fix this organization, I am the hell up out of here, because he will get money from anybody.
You're right, but I'm going to give you an adverse effect comment to that. I believe in what the Jets are doing right now with Aaron Glenn, with the signings, with Justin Fields. I believe in what the Jets are doing right now.
3 weeks ago, you didn't even like the Aaron Glenn signing.
You're right. I didn't. You're right. And then Justin Fields came to town.
I think the one thing that'll be interesting about this is that I'd say 4 years ago when they signed Robert Saleh, I was kind of in the same boat. Like, I like what the Jets are doing. They go get their quarterback in Zach. Although I didn't think that was the
all love the
right move.
The Saleh hiring.
But, I'm like, all right, they got their quarterback. They got the defense. Like, this feels like the same soap opera.
There's with one guy on this panel,
a different network.
Zach Wilson is going to be a good quarterback, and I'm not him.
It wasn't me either.
I know.
The words "good" never came out of my mouth.
I knew Zach Wilson was a bust. I knew he was a bust. Absolutely knew he was a bust.
Yeah,
now, here's Rob. Listen, it's funny. Just by the way, I can shit on Shally for thinking Zach Wilson would be a good quarterback. We'll just be very clear when we say that. I thought Trey Lance would be a good quarterback. So there's plenty of blame to go around this world of
at least my bust is still in the league.
That's a fair point.
Hey, Trey Lance was in the league. He had the same job as Zach last year.
I don't think he's under contract now, though, is he?
No, I don't think so. I think Dallas is.
Well, Zach Wilson is, so.
Well, for what it's worth, I thought Trey would be a project. I just didn't know what that would look like, but only two that I was behind in that class was Trevor and Justin, and right now neither of those have really worked out.
By the way, just need to ask this question, and maybe I should use it for "You Got to Be Kidding Me" because it might be a "You Got to Be Kidding Me" thing. Who the hell is Cam Robinson's agent? Needs like to win a Nobel Peace Prize. Like I don't understand. Like how the hell is Cam Robinson getting a $14 million contract after last year he's graded as the 27th best tackle in football? Like he's terrible. Cam Robinson was terrible for the Jags. He was terrible for the Vikings. The last time you seen Cam Robinson, the last time you seen Cam Robinson, Jarrett Verse was running him over like he wasn't standing there.
It's no different than pitching in Major League Baseball, bro.
Oh,
he's Taijuan Walker.
Yeah, there you go.
The crazy thing is that if you're going to sign Bama linemen that stink it up in the league, you got Jedrick Wills that's still unsigned. Former first-round pick out of Bama, has been the starting left tackle in Cleveland all this time. Nobody wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. It's crazy to see. Cam Robinson, you're 100% right. Cam Robinson's agent is doing a hell of a job because even the fact that what did he go for during the season? A fifth round pick, fourth round pick, whatever the trade was, it was too much. Way too much compensation for Cam Robinson to come in and be a swing tackle that stinks.
I just looked it up. I don't know what's going on in Houston. I don't know what's going on in Houston. But the current executive vice president and general manager of Houston Texans is Nick Caserio. I have no idea who that is, but he has pictures of someone somewhere because he is awful. Did you hear what just happened on air? Brett posted it earlier. Did you hear what happened on air?
Danielle Hunter?
Danielle Hunter signed a 1 year. Sally, I know you haven't seen this yet. Why do you take a guess? But Danielle Hunter just signed a 1 year contract with the Houston Texans. What do you think a good edge rusher? And he's a very good edge rusher. But like Miles, he's not Miles Garrett, TJ Watt. He's not any of like, what do you think a 1 year edge rusher just keep in mind, Josh Sweat got 18 million. Like, what do you think a 1 year Danielle Hunter contract signed out?
My gut was like 12, 13, somewhere in there, maybe 14.
It's never going to be higher than that. It's not long term, and he's better than Josh Sweat. So just go higher than that. You can double it if you want.
You really got like 24?
He got $35.6 million. What are Houston just trade away Laramie Tunsil and they signed Cam Robinson and Danielle Hunter to $35.6 million. Are you out of your friggin' mind?
Do they have like a ton of cap space or something?
No, not anymore.
So here's the thing. It really wasn't it was technically, actually, yeah, it wasn't an extension because it's $12.5 million raise, essentially what it was.
Yeah, because if he got paid $23 million, I wouldn't be complaining about it. Danielle Hunter is now the highest cap number on that team.
I mean, I guess if you're looking at it, it's only for 1 year, though. And then you get money at the end of it.
It's an extension.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
I mean, I think right now Houston's in a spot where they are. I think that was ridiculous to do because I don't think you probably had to go that high to keep him.
No.
But at the same time, they're one of those teams that have the luxury of doing moves like that because they have a quarterback on a rookie deal. There's really nobody on that team that's getting paid crazy money. And I thought the Laramie Tunsil deal was a little strange, but if you look at it, I mean, Houston's offensive line last year was not good. They obviously you guys got Kenyon Green from them. Laramie Tunsil wasn't good last year. He wasn't a top 10 offensive tackle in the league. So if they felt like they wanted to get younger at the position and get guys that wanted to be there, I'm not saying that these are culture moves, but I think D'Amico's bringing in / keeping his guys that he think he can win with. I think this is an overpay, but I mean, I think Houston has shown you exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, but the funny thing about you bring up Bryce Huff's deal. Bryce Huff got like a 3-year, $51 million contract. It's a terrible deal, but it's like $17 million a year. This guy got $35.6 million. Now, granted, I get it. Daniil Hunter getting 35.6 is probably better than Bryce Huff, who didn't play healthy. It was like a healthy scratch on the stretch for 17. I get it. There's bad deals in the NFL, but you didn't need to do that. I want to end on NBA, if you guys don't mind. Can we end on NBA real quick?
Absolutely.
Fine.
I'm just asking.
I know the answer.
I want to ask this question because Mo, who is one of the smartest NBA guys I know, I'm going to tag him too. Hoping I get him in the chat.
Steph Curry's my answer.
Well, that's funny that you say that.
Is it right?
Mo has me questioning my own basketball acumen.
Uh-oh.
A couple weeks ago, I was on Coffee and Sports, or not a couple days ago, maybe last week. And I said, they said ask for a dark horse team that could win the NBA finals or make it to the finals. And Cottrell, I said Golden State. They were a 7 at the time. They're a 6 now. Golden State, by adding Jimmy Butler, looks like a championship team. Mo thinks I'm absolutely out of my mind. Cottrell thinks they're not a dark horse. So, like, Cottrell's like, they're definitely a championship contender team. Mo is like, you're out of your mind. They might win one round. They're going to Lakers in 5. Like, he's like one of it. Shannon Sharp, Lakers in 5. Like, maybe not Lakers, but like he thinks that they have no chance of making it out of the second round. Where are you guys at on the Golden State Warriors with the Jimmy Butler edition? Because Draymond Green's talking about Defensive Player of the Year. They've won like, I think it's like 13 out of the last 15 basketball games.
I thought they only lost like one game since they traded for him.
They just lost a couple nights ago to the Nuggets without Jamal Murray and Joker. So I think since they've got them, they're 15-2 when Jimmy Butler plays.
So what am I missing something, or is like Mo obviously knows basketball? I don't. But like, what do you guys see with the Warriors?
I think it's if I'm being honest, I think it's OKC. I think the way Denver's played the last month, they kind of look like old Denver again. But then I think after that, I think it's. I feel like you're putting, to use your thing for earlier, you're putting Minnesota, Golden State, Lakers,
Houston,
a couple other teams in a blender, and if you made me pick out of those 4, I'm probably picking Golden State.
I'll take Golden State over anyone not named Oklahoma City, and I have not seen Oklahoma City do it in the postseason yet. I've seen Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler do it in the postseason. So my point being is, when they were 4,300 plus 4,300 to win the NBA Finals right after the Jimmy Butler trade. I told Adrian, because I don't bet anymore, put $30 on the Warriors to win the Finals. They're plus 1,700 now. Like, I don't think I'm crazy by saying the Warriors have a good chance.
I mean, 1,700 is still a long shot with what you look. What's in front of them?
He's cash out of $100 already.
Okay, that's fine, but that's still 3-1. It's not 17-1. And my point being, I still think if you want to argue they're going to beat Denver, I mean, I can't sit here and not listen to it. I still think Denver's a little bit better, but OKC, I think, got their year of experience last year and ran into a buzzsaw with Dallas. I think OKC is the definitive favorite to come out of the West. And then you have 2 teams in the East that are both really, really good. Great. So whichever one of those 2 teams comes out of the East, that'll be a war. But whichever one of those 2 comes out, they're definitely better than Golden State as well.
And then for me, I mean, I think the biggest, I guess, thing would be in the West. Talk about Oklahoma City all you want to, which is, I get it. They looked absolutely incredible this year. If we're looking at just how they've played this year, I don't think if they continue playing like that in the playoffs, I don't think there's anyone that can beat them in a 7-game series in the Western Conference. But with that said, though, games get called differently in the playoffs, and it feels like every single week we're getting a new coach that's talking about, foul calls against Oklahoma City. So you had it just this past week where Jay Bickerstaff was going off in the press conference about how Cade Cunningham wasn't getting the same calls that Shea was getting, or, just you've also had Mike Malone in the past talk about, the liberties that they afford, Shea to get away with, and how they let the other teams be physical. But when you touch, anyone on the Thunder team, that, it's a foul, and they call it every time. Chris Finch has also come out and said stuff about that as well. Anthony Edwards has. I mean, it's a ton of conversations around the league that talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the calls that they've been getting throughout the year. Now, I'm not saying that that's not something that can translate to the playoffs. I just don't think it's going to translate as much. The Thunder do a great job of, getting fouls. They go downhill, they attack the basket. Like, they have a ton of players that draw a lot of great calls because they have a lot of great players. I'm just saying, I saw, and I don't think this team is exactly the same as last year, but I saw how they were starting to get neutralized when they didn't get those same calls. And I know they added pieces. They added the Hartensteins. They added Caruso. They got rid of Josh Giddey. Like, I understand that all these things have happened. But the one thing that these other teams also have come playoff time, the stars shine so much in playoff series. We saw Anthony Edwards will that Minnesota Timberwolves team to the Western Conference Finals. We've seen Jamal Murray play like an all-NBA caliber playoff player in the playoffs. Like, you look at the Rockets, like the Rockets are kind of the same mold as the Thunder, where they're this young up-and-coming team. But on the other side, you have the Lakers, you have the Warriors with a ton of players that have been here before and have done this on the big stage. Luka, LeBron, Draymond, Steph, Jimmy. Trust all those guys more than I trust even the guy like Shea. Shea is incredible. Top 5 player in the world. He's my MVP.
You can't say that.
I'm saying
that might have been a mistake.
I'm saying not as a one-on-one player, but I'm saying that in these big time moments when I need them to go do things, as far as Draymond's role, I'm not saying as a one-on-one player. I'm not saying Draymond's better than SGA, but as far as playoff time, if I'm Steve Kerr and it's 25 seconds left in the game, Draymond, I don't need you to hit the game winner, but I need you, when they're coming off the screen, I need you to hedge this just enough for our center to get up or our backside player to rotate over there. Like, you trust those guys to make those big time plays. Obviously, offensively, the other 4, what kind of big shots get made there. But as a whole, all these players have either championship DNA or just hard pressed in the playoffs there. And that's always going to be the one question mark until OKC gets over the hump. But to answer the question, I don't think you're crazy for saying the Warriors could win, or even just go to the NBA Finals or make it out of the West. I don't think that's crazy because I've seen how well they've been playing since they've added Jimmy Butler to this team. And if we're being honest, Jimmy hasn't been incredible with this Warriors team. It's like, all right, he goes out, he gets 19, plays hard defensively, gets some loose balls, gets some offensive rebounds, things like that. But he hasn't been 2020 Jimmy Butler. Like, that even hasn't even shown up yet. So I think they still got a lot of room to grow as well.
Okay. I need to get this comment out because I don't want to just talk Warriors. And then we got to get to, you got to be kidding me, for already at the 2-hour mark. I want to assess where we're at on the Cleveland Cavaliers winning the NBA Finals and getting to the NBA Finals. All I want to ask you is this. Very simple. They're the 1 seed in the East. They've played great. They've made believers out of me. They've been incredible this year. I just want to make that statement. What percentage chance do you give the Cleveland Cavaliers of making the NBA Finals and winning the NBA Finals? Out of a scale of 100, out of a pie of 100, what percentage getting there? What percentage winning it? Cottrell, you have to go last on this one. It's your team, and I would love to, if Charlie, if you can go first.
Getting there, I'll say 50-50 because it's either going to be them or Boston. So
Okay.
it's one of the two. East is just Indiana can't beat either one of them in a 7-game series, and I don't know. Milwaukee is just not the threat that they used to be, and after that, I don't think anything else is serious. Once they get if they get there,
my answer is so weird.
I actually think their chances once they get there might be greater than they were to get there.
No, but you got to give the full chance. So it's got to be less than 50%.
Why?
because if you give them a 50% chance of making the finals, then that if you go higher than that, then it's the chances of them making the finals versus the chances of them winning the whole thing.
That's me saying that I think their hardest tested. I think that would be me saying that Cleveland is better than everybody, but maybe Boston
or 49. But like, if you say that they get to like,
yeah, I'm not picking up what you're saying, Gene. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, what?
I'm not picking.
You think they have a better chance of getting to the finals, a better chance of winning the finals than getting to the finals? That's the question I asked. You have a better chance of getting what I'm saying? Chance of getting to the finals?
They have a better chance of beating anybody in the West than they do of beating Boston.
Boom.
No, but you can't say, all right, so you have to beat Boston to get to the finals. If the question is, guys, this can't be rocket science. The chances of them
two of us get it. You don't get. You're the one that doesn't understand it.
If you don't understand this, I don't know how to spell it out for you. The chances of them getting to the finals, you said 50%.
Yeah, so because it's either them or Boston. I think everybody else in the East has a 0% chance to get there. It's either Boston or Cleveland. It's
I'm fine with you saying 50%. Okay. You cannot say the chances of them winning the NBA Finals are above 50% because their chance of getting there are 50%. You can't say them winning it is above 50%. You can't say that.
So cross out getting there. So then if you ask me this question 2 weeks from now, you go, all right, or a month from now when we get there, if it's Cleveland versus OKC, and I think they have a 65% chance of winning that series, I can't say that.
Every team. That's not, you can absolutely say that. You can absolutely say that if they're in the final. The chances, the question I'm asking you is, what are their chances?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, you're saying if they get there. I'm asking you, what's their chance of winning the finals right now? It can't be above 50% if you gave them a 50% chance of getting there.
I get what I get what you're saying.
I don't know how I don't know how anybody would take that anything differently. So what are their chances of winning the NBA Finals right now?
Then I guess I'll go 33% because I think it's either them, Boston, or OKC. That makes sense.
That makes sense. That's fine. 50-33. You follow that, right?
I've been following you the whole time. I don't agree with how we're going about it, but because I was going to say
getting there.
I was going to say they have a 40% chance to beat Boston, but they have a 65% chance to win the finals because that means they get to the finals. I would say they beat them 65% chance of them beating OKC.
Then you take 2/3 of 40%, and that's their final chances. You do understand how that works, right? They have a 40% chance of beating Boston.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
So then your answer would be 23% chance to win the finals and 40% chance of getting there.
Sure.
That's all I asked. Is that a hard concept?
It's not, but it was more difficult than it needed to be.
Okay, I give them a 30% chance of getting to the finals, and I give them a 15% chance of winning the whole thing. That's where I'm at. I just wanted to get everything laid on paper. Just to be clear, I give the Milwaukee Bucks and the New York Knicks a 10% chance of making it to the finals. I give the Cleveland Cavaliers a 30% chance, and I give the Boston Celtics, who I think the best team in the NBA is, a 50% chance of making the NBA finals. That's my pie chart for the East. The reason that it drops so slightly when I say 15% to win the finals is because I give them at least a 50-50 shot of winning the finals if they get there. That's how you do that. Sorry, that got real weird.
Again, okay. I think everyone's in agreement that Boston would be the toughest challenge, though, correct?
Yes, I agree.
All right.
30% chance.
Let's get you got to be kidding.
So mine this week, mine is a fun one, and I actually don't even hate it. I just want to bring it up because I absolutely loved it. But if I can go with Michigan another week, I'm going to do it again.
What's your problem now?
So this week, Michigan baseball star, my guy Mitchell Boyd.
Mitch might have a cocaine problem.
He got to third base, slid in, And as he got there, celebration was rolling his head across the old foul line there, like he was sniffing some cocaine. And
gonna rail it his day.
Everybody, that took over social media like the day it happened. And he had to come out. He had to do an apology for it. He's like, this doesn't reflect my character. I'm really not that kind of guy. Like, I was caught up in the moment, like that whole thing there. For what it's worth, you don't play with addiction and things like that. So I don't want to go there and get all political with that. But for what it's worth, I loved it. But this week, because it happened with Michigan, he put out the apology, and it just ultimately had all the headlines in the college baseball world.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
It's still everywhere all over Twitter. It's hysterical. There's 100% chance that Mitch has done cocaine in his life before, though.
That was too clean, right?
Shally.
Just go. I don't have anything.
I feel like Shally hasn't had it. You got to be kidding me in like a month.
2025.
It's not true. I was going to do LeBron last week, and then it became a topic on the show out of nowhere because you went ad-libbing again. And Cottrell stolen it twice. Cottrell shouldn't be able to go first anymore. I've said this for 3 freaking years. He stole my – you got to be kidding me, like 9 times.
I go last, and I don't even ask you guys what you guys go with.
You get mad at everything, so you always have like 9.
You got to be kidding me this week is the Green Bay Packers organization. And they officially
became official, yeah.
They officially put a rule out to the league to attempt to remove the tush push for player safety. So I don't know. Just look up how many players were injured on the tush push. Let me look at this internal data. The league's internal data on the tush push revealed that there was a 0% injury rate on what is known as the tush push. There's concern over potential for injury, but to date, there have been 0 reported injuries from the play. Sorry, Green Bay. I apologize that we're a better football team than you guys, and you want to eliminate the play, but you're going to have to use something other than player safety. So for this week, the Green Bay Packers, as the sore losers.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
So I went quick there, too. I made it simple, had statistical data. I was ready.
Yeah, but, that data is definitely skewed. We just saw Chris Jones get hurt in the Super Bowl from that. What are we considering?
He was already hurt.
Okay.
There's a 10% chance he had a pre-existing injury.
Yeah, see?
Are we talking about a pre-existing injury before the Super Bowl, or are we talking about the chances that he had it during the game?
See, I don't understand. This is the part that gets me. I don't understand how my question was such a hard concept. Like when you look at FanDuel and you look at Cleveland's odds to win the finals.
That's different. That's different. That's 100% different.
I asked what the odds were.
But if we're doing the hypothetical, though, and we're talking about it,
I said, what are the odds? Like, you'll never see a team that's like, yeah, well, they're plus 700 to get there, but they're minus 300 to win the finals. Well, I would bet to get there all the time.
But to that point, though, you have seen teams like, I don't know what Washington was on the money line, but I'm sure they were plus, I don't know what it was going into the game, but 380? I don't know what it was against the Eagles going in, but I'm sure it was something high. But
you're gonna walk into it. You're gonna walk into a left hand here. Yeah,
no, 100%. But against on the other side, you had the Kansas City Chiefs odds of beating Buffalo. It was close to even. Like I'd say 115, 130. Like it was somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if the Chiefs would have played Washington, it would have been like minus 305 for them to beat Washington. That's what I'm saying. That's what we were getting at.
Odds were versus Buffalo were minus 115. The Chiefs' odds to win the Super Bowl before that were plus 350.
But
so
again,
you're assuming if they played Washington, what their odds would be.
That's the conversation.
No, it's not. The conversation was what are the odds to them getting there and what are the odds of them winning it? That's the conversation.
Me and Bill were on
easy for me because It's easy to go 50-50 because I'm eliminating everybody else. Like you gave the Knicks a 10% chance.
So absolutely fine of getting there. All I said was you couldn't have the number be higher than 50% if you had for them to win the finals, because you would be giving everyone in the Western Conference a 0% chance, and you'd be lowering your own odds of getting there. That's all I meant. I'm done.
Not true.
It's mathematically true.
Listen, your math's not mathing. You're not mathing the same way me and Cottrell are mathing.
This is probably the funniest thing we've done since Ronda Rousey. Like, I feel like I'm on punked. Is Ashton Kutcher coming out?
Ashton. If I'm giving them a 65% chance.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That means I'm giving like OKC 20. I'm sprinkling a little bit on Denver and maybe Golden State. And I don't think Houston can win the finals. I don't think Minnesota
what
can.
about Boston?
I got them at 0.
We already eliminated Boston because they
Boston.
got there.
If they're there, then Boston doesn't matter.
That's the part that we're not on the same page with.
You're doing algebra. Me and Cottrell are doing calc. All right? That's where we're at right now. I'm 100% done with this goddamn conversation. That's what I know.
Any final comments, gentlemen?
Of course, this week got another week of Real Recognize Real. This week we're highlighting Harold Fannin Jr. out of Bowling Green State University, just to give you a little preview of what's to come on Saturday. Hike!
Set to throw on first down. Wide open. Harold Fannin Jr. inside the 30. Makes a man miss. Inside the 10. Touchdown, Bowling Green.
I have a silly question.
Yeah.
Is it really Bowling Green State or is it just Bowling Green?
Bowling Green State.
It is?
They are BGSU.
Didn't know that.
Okay.
Little Mac love there.
So Bowling Green, and then there's a Bowling Green State?
I don't know if there's an actual Bowling Green, but there's a Bowling Green. There's a city of Bowling Green in Kentucky. I don't know if they're actual college, but there is a Bowling Green, Kentucky. Bowling Green State University is also in Bowling Green, but it's in Ohio.
Bowling Green, Kentucky is where the Chevy Corvette factory is. So I know it's just a town. I don't think it's a college.
Which also is home of, I believe, Western Kentucky, if I'm getting my facts straight here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Bowling Green State University. It's Bowling Green is Bowling Green State University.
Yeah, I just don't
never knew that. I learned something new right here.
There you go.
Same.
All right, gentlemen. Any final thoughts, Chow?
Fill out your damn brackets, because if you don't, 100% Gene's going to come on the next show that he's on and start yelling at people. So fill out your brackets.
You're right. If you haven't bought a bracket yet, Wire2Wire Sports Pod on Venmo, $20. First prize up to $1,000. I don't know if we're going to get there, gentlemen. I really would love the support of everyone. We got people on the network that still haven't bought a bracket. Is this real? I don't know. We'll find out. Listen, I'll call people out. Get a bracket. Getting it. Listen, and let me just tell you something. If I had a podcast and I wanted my podcast to get $20 worth of viewership, that's a deal on itself. Like, you could literally, we're going to talk about the bracket every single week. Hey, here's where we're at. Look, it looks like N1 Podcast. I use Brett because he already bought one. N1 Podcast is in the lead right now. And then you got like whatever. Just use whatever podcast is your name. We talk about it. It's $20 of free promotion. Wire2Wire Sports Pod, $20. I don't know. I feel like I'm breaking the bank here. Like, I don't. I'll take I'll take IOUs. All right. Just if you don't have $20, message me. I'll take an IOU. I don't care. I'll lend it to you for a week. Let me know when you're getting paid. I'll be a debt collector. I'm just kidding. I'm done. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm NFL Genius Gene Walzak. That's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Cottrell, Scholastic Shy, Uncle Shy, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out.